Men of Reddit, what's the most embarrassing thing you've done due to being horny? In the 90s, I traveled for 2 weeks to the company headquarters for training. My hotel had several channels of Spanktravision, aka soft-core porn. The hotel would automatically charge the room if you watched one of the porn channels for too long. I wasn't sure when charges would kick in, so I played it safe and changed the channel every few seconds. Fast forward to checkout. The cute girl at the front desk looked carefully at my bill, then said I had $640 worth of video charges. Looking more closely, she said, "That can't be right, it's charging multiple movies to your room at the same time." She proceeded to go line by line through the printout, wiping out duplicate charges to the same time slots. I sat there for 15 minutes of utter humiliation, knowing she was reading all the titles, and that must be imagining a cleaning crew hitting that room with black lights. The embarrassment was worth the wait. She knocked my bill down to just over $200. Still, a huge expense for me at the time, and still my most embarrassing moment, so far. Camping with ex and her family. We had our own tent, and we were getting it on. Forgot to turn off the light, casted a shadow of us boning. After we were done, we realized our error. Her whole family saw. No. Don't worry, we can save this memory by playing Sweet Home Alabama and filing it under comedy. I was a teen and the internet connection was out. Windows XP had this word processor. It wasn't Microsoft Word, but still from Microsoft, where you could insert 3D graphics such as spheres, cubes, cones, etc. Well, I inserted 6 spheres, changed the colors to beige and brown and proceeded to jack it to my self-made 3D titties. My bro was using 100% of her brain. If this isn't the epitome of horned up teen behavior, I don't know what is. Bought a sex toy. Immediately felt ashamed after using it once. This was back when I was in high school, so I was super paranoid about disposing of it at my parents' house. Ended up throwing it out the window of my car as I drove past a golf course. To this day, I still crack up thinking of some landscaper doing their routine golf course upkeep and finding it. I think sex toys like fleshlights and cock rings are kinda normal. One time I bought a sex doll and boy, let me tell ya, the post-nut clarity hit hard. Immediately had the urge to toss it, but I kept it for a couple more days before throwing it in a dumpster behind a gas station. There is one lucky homeless guy out there that is really happy. Picked up the old Pringle can, gloves, sponges combo from the store when I was traveling for work. Frick. You just unlocked a new memory for me. I've done this so many times. The teenage fleshlight, haha. It would be far easier to just buy a fleshlight, but then I don't get the Pringles, so that's a bummer. You get the Pringles before or after doing the business? Had sex with a girl I went to break up with 12 times. Every time, I'm done with her shit, I'm going to tell her it's over, blah blah blah. But then, she did this thing. Every gosh darn time. I finally got wise and broke up over the phone. Touched myself with toothpaste. It was good until the fire of hell started burning my dick and I couldn't hold my tears anymore. Never ever again, lol. Jacked off with Thermosilk heat activated shampoo and had to go to the hospital. Ouch. Stuck my dong in a pool pump. The suction was so powerful it engulfed my entire package. Things got real and had to fight the suction and pull it off my junk. Bruised dong among other more concerning injuries. Dang, never known a pump to suck. I've only known ones that jet water out. Lesson learned? Don't stick your dong in unknown holes. Don't put your dick in that. Just looking back at the weird corn I watched after nutting. Never look back into the depths of your own depravity. Words to live by. One time during post-nut clarity I came up with an innovative design for a heated homemade fleshlight. I figured that the real thing was allegedly warm inside so it would feel better, but ended up scalding my dong instead. When DIY becomes OMG. I met up with my friend with benefits in an unused classroom during lunchtime and gave him a BJ. I was really turned on and not thinking much, so when he said I want to paint your face, I decided I could just clean it up afterwards since I had napkins. Well, it turns out his aim wasn't as reliable as I anticipated, and it all went into my hair. I tried to clean it up with a napkin, but I ended up smearing it even more. With his post-nut clarity hitting, he basically made an excuse and left me there on my bum. I ended up messaging my sister, who got me a cap to cover my hair and got keys to one of the teacher's bathrooms and helped me wash the nut off my hair in the sink while I cried. 22 years old, getting a BJ in a parking lot. Cop starts to check every car in my line. Girl I'm with looks up and says it's okay. My mom sells that cop coke. To my amazement, the cop gives us a little wave and she continues the BJ. I love America. God bless that girl. Had a one-night stand with a disgusting girl. And I mean gross disgusting. Her teeth were crooked, which doesn't bother me much. Her apartment was a total fucking mess. More SO clutter than anything else. I can deal with this. She had dishes in the sink piled up super high and she offered me a plastic cup if I was thirsty. Not ideal, but whatever, I'll deal. She texted me before I arrived that her dog had pissed on the floor and she was dealing with that. Fine, dogs do that sometimes. Come to find out, her dealing with it was putting newspaper on it. And there was newspaper everywhere. We went to her bedroom and had very boring sex and I slept over because it was late. I woke up to the sound of her dog pissing. I forgot if it was pissing on the bed or on the floor and don't care honestly. I got out of bed and immediately left, deleted and blocked her and all that. I took off my shirt and threw it in the dumpster behind her apartment building. Also threw out my pants and underwear and changed into a spare pair of shorts I keep in my trunk. I also threw out my socks and drove home barefoot and shirtless at 5 a.m. Never again. Met this random girl on a dating/hookup site. Go over her place and smash like crazy. Some of the best sex I have ever had. I sleep there cause it's late and in the morning she asks me to take her to this clinic for her methadone. So she's a recovering heroin addict. No judgment on my end, she is trying to get better, that's awesome, so I oblige. After that I drop her off at home and tell her I have to help my dad put up a fence, which wasn't a lie. And I would call her later. After I'm done with the fence I look at my phone and see 178 text messages and 57 missed calls. It had been only 2 hours. So, I told her this wasn't going to work as I'm genuinely scared. She followed up by threatening me and telling me her brother was going to kick my ass. I ask her where I live and she said somewhere in, insert my town. I tell her it's a big town. She said I'll find it in the yellow pages. I ask her what my last name was. Silence. Dodged that bullet. Deleted the app after that. Went to a Tinder hookup. It ended up with a trip to the ER for me. I'm allergic to peanuts, and she had eaten a peanut butter sandwich before I got there. We made out and I got a contact exposure. God, peanut allergies are crazy. I heard about some kid who died from kissing his girlfriend after she'd eaten a peanut butter sandwich. Jesus, she's going to be traumatized for life. I guess he was, too. I tried to contact her afterwards, but she didn't respond. I guess she didn't want to bang a guy with peanut allergies. Or maybe she was embarrassed, I don't know. At a sorority party at a college I didn't go to. Fucked one of the sorority sisters for a warm bed to sleep in as it was mid-January and -10 out. What I thought was going to be a relatively vanilla evening turned into a crash course in S&M and Dom subdynamics. By the time I was finished, 4 hours later, I was stone sober and she was trying to feed me Adderall to keep going. I told her I needed to go to the bathroom and promptly hopped in my car and drove 3 hours back home. Never went back to that school, but I look fondly on that memory. If you look back fondly, how is that embarrassing? He learned the S. It was a cold, blistery, winter night, temps below freezing. I was drunk off my mind and it was probably 1 a.m. I pulled her pants down and ate her out on the street. Tell me you're from the UK without telling me you're from the UK. I am ashamed to report that I am American. What a twist. One time I was sexting a girl. I was super tired, but I sent a video of me nutting to her then promptly pass out. I wake up a few hours later to many missed calls, texts, all sorts of things. I posted the fucking video to my Snapchat story. I laugh about it now, but man, for a few days it was horrifying. I didn't care about any of my friends seeing it honestly, but I was terrified that my sisters or cousins saw it, which I don't believe they did. Oh god, that used to be like a nightmare of mine, lol. Would always double check that the dick pic, video etc. was sending to the right person and nobody else. Geez man, your whole story, that sucks, lol. Packed a bunch of snow into a hole in a snowbank and fucked it. Almost finished, but people walked by on the road and I bolted. Boner champ? Broccoli Rob is Broccoli Rob. When I was 19 and I was at some party, I had an argument with this girl I barely knew who was a friend of some friends of mine. The argument was about some borderline and not so borderline racist shit she had said earlier, and it escalated to the point that we ended up having angry sex in one of the apartment's bedrooms. Not proud of that one, I can tell you. Did it at least solve who won the argument? Not really. It's kind of hard to convince someone who says racist shit that they're wrong. If I'd managed to bang her into not being racist, I'd be kind of proud instead of embarrassed about it. As it stands, I feel like my dick betrayed me into banging Tommy Lahren. I jerked off while driving around a roundabout for like 6 minutes with my laptop on the dash because I was high on Adderall and my family was at my house and it made sense at the time. Not so much on reflection. 3 things. Used a bottle to jerk myself because I wanted to know how did it feel to penetrate something. Jerk off next to a girl who was fingering herself in a graveyard. Spend a low oud of money on OnlyFans. Not proud, but hey, what's done is done. Doing sisters on the same day. The younger one of the two knew she wanted to hook up with me and, at the time, I did not know the older one was this other girl I was talking to as well, different last names. Ended up banging the younger one, Dropped her off home and met the older one at her work, picked her up and banged as well. Dropped her off at the corner of the other sister's house when I saw her get into the same house. Later on a friend told me they were sisters. Needless to say I never saw them again. Did you check off the mom too for the home run? No lie, the mom was hot as fuck too, but I drew the line there. Oh hey! You made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more hilarious content. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.